I show
We're
4 bucks.
showing 1,600 right now, so we'll start. Call to order. Any public comment? No? Thank you. Close all the minutes then from last month.
Okay, I've read the minutes, and I think there were a couple minor spelling errors that have been corrected. So I make a motion for approval.
Okay, I'll second that, and this motion is approved. And by the way, Mr. Wilmot is not attending today, but only Stan and me. Okay. Patty, go ahead with your financial report.
Before you go, Rick, can we have a motion?
Okay.
One second.
We have a motion for the agenda too.
No, we don't need to approve.
Oh, no? Okay, we don't do that?
Well, we made a motion. I mean,
Okay, good.
No,
rather than seconded, I mean,
the
there's
agenda is a flexible instrument.
Okay.
But, okay, go ahead, Patty.
Okay, the financial report for July 2015. The warrants total $21,679.27. Items to mention, there are over $1,000. Are the U.S. Bancorp credit card in the amount of $3,864.67, and Shell $1,147.51. Volunteer payroll included in warrants total $8,557. Payroll for July totals $14,485.67. That includes Chief Carlson's salary of $4,166.67, and Assistant Chief Shields pay of $2,667. There was one advance for each commissioner and the secretary, and the volunteer portion of that totals $6,236. The total payout to volunteers in July is $14,793, and your June financial statements are in your meeting book. And I'm looking for motions to approve the warrant for July in the amount of $21,679.27, along with payroll in the amount of $14,485.67.
Thank you,
Okay.
Patty.
I've got a problem. What I have in front of me is June 10th financial report, not July. And those numbers do not coincide with what she was just reading.
Are you in the July tab of your book, the second tab over?
Second tab?
Yeah, if you just open up your book, that was last month.
Okay.
I can put the months in the front if that's easier, the current month in the front and go backwards, back to front.
That might be easier, Patty, we do month by month and forget.
Yeah, my apologies, I'll do that. I'll put the current month in front.
Okay, yeah, that would help. I don't have any questions. I'm ready to make a motion. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, all right. There's two motions. First one is to approve the warrants for $21,679.27. Second motion is to approve payroll in the amount of $14,485.67. Those are two motions. You're going to have to put a second on that, obviously.
Yeah, okay. I'll second that motion for both motions. And both motions have been approved. And while we're at it, Patty, if you don't mind, and if anybody else, I hope nobody else minds, we have a couple of warrants to cancel. And like we've done in the past, I'd like to do that at the end of this report instead of somewhere in the agenda.
I agree. The warrant should come right after this.
Okay, Patty, if you don't mind, we'll do that resolution. You care?
Absolutely, sure.
You don't mind?
Okay.
Okay.
So before you have your financial reports in your book, is resolution 2015-02. That is to void uncashed warrants that were prior to July 1, 2014, in the amount of $174.30. And along with that, I also am requesting an authorization form for you to sign to allow us to cancel and reissue an $82 warrant to John Valentich, one of the volunteers.
Okay. And we all go down to one more, on the one resolution, right?
Yes, only one resolution. I made 3 copies.
Okay. How many cancellations are there in total, Patty?
There are 4 checks altogether, and all 4 of them total $174.30.
Okay.
And we'll be reissuing rather, just the one $82 check. The other 2 were to Delta Cablevision, small amount, and then a $72 warrant to a previous volunteer who is no longer there.
Yeah, Betty, I just discovered working, forget the tabs in this financial line. Just do everything month by month, if you don't mind. Okay, Stan, you want to work on that?
I'd make a motion to adopt resolution 2015-02 as was read.
I'll second that motion. There be no opposition, this motion passed.
Yep.
Thank you, Patty, and we'll do the appropriate paperwork right after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Patty.
Okay. That being done, oh, Patty, you still there?
No, I just.
No, you're done.
What do you mean?
That's always a budget update.
Oh, hang on. All right. Sorry, I hit the off button too soon. She's probably left already.
Oh,
Hey Patty, sorry. The commissioners would like to know if there's a budget update at all.
thank you for asking. I will be issuing the Chief Carlson here in the next week a year-to-date update on where the budget is for him to post on the website,
Okay.
where we are expenditures versus revenue.
Okay. Very well. Stan, anything from you?
Yeah, there is something from me. At mid-year, I like to have a hard copy. It's just the way I review a budget. I cannot review it online. I'm too old.
And once she sends that to me, I'll print you off a copy.
Okay, and then she has the changes that are being made and summarized. I'd like to have a copy of that too.
Yeah.
And go in her mailbox. I don't know, Bill, how do you feel about that?
Well, now that we have this beautiful blue financial binder, I think we should print paper and stick it in there and read it.
So I'll put that in there, and this binder is pretty much available to you at any time that you would like to have it. But what I'll do is since you have the request, I'll print off a hard copy for you. If any other commissioners want one as well, I'll do that too.
Chief, is there any way, or do you object, although I think it's really well up to the commissioners, and if Patty doesn't object, I'd like to have possession of my own financial binder so that I can make notations in it at a quiet moment at home.
Yeah, when I read the financial reports, I make notations. I have my fingers marking pages as I go through. That's why it doesn't work out really well.
If you would like to keep your financial binders until prior to the next meeting, and I'm able to add the paperwork to those binders prior to the next meeting, so you can read it prior to the meeting, so you can generate questions or concerns. I'm happy to do that for you.
Good.
Okay.
I would like to.
Yeah,
Makes
and I will also
sense?
be at the August meeting as well. And then I will rearrange your binders and, yeah, and then I'll be there for any questions as well.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty personal for me. I mean, this remark is my own, of my own doing, and I think Stan feels the same way. I have many solemn moments at home and in the dark that I like to read once in a while. And this will be one of them. Okay? But okay, look forward to seeing you next month, and either you or the chief will update the binders, is that correct? You will make sure we're wearing it.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
That would be all then, I think, right?
Yeah, anything else, Patty?
Not that I can think of. No, I look forward to seeing you all next month.
Commissioner?
Good, no, thank you very much, Betty.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Do I need to call it back?
Just for fun.
Okay,
No,
just checking.
anybody else who wants to go?
Just checking. Just checking.
There's also Latin, maybe? Correspondence, Steve.
Correspondence. So we had a couple emails come through burning concerns in May, and also an extension of the public records request that we'll be confirming on July 10th as our next communication with that, requesting documents from the district. The other thing I received was a little card from Susan Kinsey, our previous financial manager, and she sent, I think, everybody something, and so I got a nice little card, plus a t-shirt, and the t-shirt was the running joke between us that I present with OCD. And I'll have to bring it in. I'll try to remember it in the August meeting, but it says I have CDO because it's like OCD, but it's alphabetically correct. So I probably wear that T-shirt.
You don't have to, we know.
Yeah, at home. That will not be worn here, but I'll keep it at home. So correspondence. This is the card from Suzanne, and then that could be added to the records. That's it for correspondence.
Thank you. Looking up on those emails, I presume they are from the All Points Bulletin still?
The extension of the public records request is from the All Point Bulletin, and the two other emails concerning prohibited burns are from a citizen resident within Point Roberts.
When regarding the All Points Bulletin email, Pat Bell's email, when is it discussed for a date of revealing, so to speak?
July 10th is our next contact with Mr. Grubb regarding the documents he's requested, and if those documents are available at that time.
That would be Friday, right?
Yes, this Friday. So we'll extend a hand back out to Mr. Grubb, let him know if the records have been received that he's requested, and if not, then we'll ask for more time and give him another date that will be set for those records to be available.
Has Mr. Grubb made any more contact with our attorney?
Not that I know of, no.
I haven't gotten anything back from Whitby yet, they haven't.
No, I haven't either.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not received any of those records from Whitby, from any of the commissioners at this point. So it sounds like, and it's out of our control, it's in Whitby's hands, and it's most likely that those records will not be available yet, and therefore a correspondence will be sent to Mr. Grubb stating that, and setting another date to review.
Any comments on that? Stan? No? I don't have any more comments on that either. That's kind of old. Okay. That's all for the chief's report and unfinished business.
Chief's report.
Chief's report. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Chief's report for June 2015 for the month of May. Point of information, I still have homeowners that don't know that they should be contacting their homeowner's insurance and asking to see if there'll be a reduction because of our improvement in our ISO rating from a 6 to a 5. I've heard as much up to $158 for an entire year of savings for their fire insurance rating, but they have to personally contact their insurance provider because your insurance provider won't look it up and decide to contact them to give them a reduced rate. So the Washington Surveying and Rating Bureau's letter is on our website at wcfd5.com, and it's on the right-hand side underneath the newsflash area, where I also have burn ban information on that. So they can print that off and then fax that or email that into their insurance provider, which shows the rating decrease, and the effective date is September 1st of this year. So, but the residents that have done that so far have been very, very happy with the results, and we'll do everything we can to maintain that rating from this point forwards and do our best to reduce it, hopefully in the future as well, again. So we'll see how that comes around. Communication project is underway. All of the agreements are in place, as I reported last month as well. And the equipment is finalizing, and our microwave license is being completed. And the project time frame is still the end of July, so we hope to have it up and running by the first part of August. Member Christina Trosakian, she passed her National Registry exam at the advanced EMT level. So wanted you guys to know that. And for those who don't know Christina, if you can pan back to her so people can see who she is. So wave. She'll be our next advanced EMT. The paperwork has been sent into the state. And Josh Martin will be taking his National Registry Advanced EMT written, I think, on the 10th. Is that correct, Christina? The 10th or the 11th is when he is scheduled, and hopefully he has the same success rate first shot, and he'll be added to the roster as an advanced EMT too. So the advanced EMTs are able to start IVs, give certain medications beyond the EMT level, treat diabetic patients, treat cardiac patients with nitroglycerin without having doctor's approval. And I've rewritten the advanced EMT protocols for review by Dr. McBain. I'm working with him, who is the district's supervising physician. And once we get a document that we feel that is a strong document, maintaining and improving the ability of our advanced EMTs within District 5, we will send that to Dr. Rain, who is the Medical Program Director of Whatcom County, and we'll have discussions with him and hopefully his support and approval, and then that will go to the state as well. My goal is to not reduce anything that we've been able to provide since the last revision, which was late 2009, 2010, for the last 5 years, but to maintain that and only add more skill sets and medications that advanced EMTs can provide if a paramedic is not on point during the emergency. Okay, so that's going on. I've added firefighter weekdays, so number 4 under point of information, and I'll correct this in the hard copy, would be I've added firefighters on weekday rotations. So if firefighters are available, they can come in and pull weekday coverage alongside the EMT. And the reason why I've done this is because the wildfire risk has been placed at very high. So I don't know what's next, extreme. Probably will be next, but due to that danger, I think it's imperative that we have as many available staff as possible if a wildfire would decide to start. If there's any wind, I suspect a couple acres will be taken before we can get control, if we're able to get control of such a fire with the resources that we have. So I would like to thank the public as well. I just finished my next fireside chat, but I'd like to thank the public in general for adhering to the prohibited fire ban that is currently in place and not deciding to burn. The public has really been receptive. We've only had a few people claim ignorance when it comes to burning after dark because they think we're in bed and their neighbors aren't in bed and their neighbors call. Or we've been staying out until midnight, 1 o'clock pretty consistently over the last week and doing fire rotation watch and driving around. So we've only had a few fires that people are doing illegally, and we immediately issue correction notices And if they continue the next call, there's pretty much zero tolerance. There's pretty much zero tolerance when it comes to burning at this point, and that's because of the danger. So the fire marshal will be notified, documentation will be sent to them, and fines will start at that point. And I think the new fine range is around $500 for that type of incident, and then it goes up from there. So I'm very happy. Thank you, public, for helping us keep Point Roberts safe during this fire danger.
Thank you for giving that extra time and attention.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about the burn ban sign at the border. A lot of people have positively commented on that, and I think it's a big plus. It allows people that they see it, that it's turned on, and they actually come to the station or call into the station to find out more information if necessary. And we're also able to educate at that time too.
So the only thing you can do now is barbecue?
Yeah, barbecue or propane. So propane fire pit, like you can buy at Home Depot or at Lowe's or another hardware store, those decorative fire pits, those are not prohibited. So a lot of people over this last weekend actually went out and bought those so they could have a fire and have their friends and stuff around, and they look very, very real. So we were stopping at a few and going, that's a beautiful fire, and it's propane. That's a good job. Thank you for adhering to the necessities of the burn ban. So it was good. 4th of July weekend went well. Fireworks went well. We wetted down the entire area. We had one little spot fire from Spark that was about a 6-inch by 6-inch. Big fire, and we were able to stop it out with our feet. So we were right on top of it. Literally at the fireworks display. Nothing to report on apparatus. Member roster is 47. So I've added 8 members to the roster. That's because we were down 6 members from either resignations or career hirings. We're expected to lose at least 4 by September due to hirings as well. So I brought on 8 immediate so they can have their feet wet before we lose some of our most experienced members in September. So we might have a flex. We might lose 2 of our most senior captains to Vancouver Fire in September. But we have 2 captains ready to fill their spots that are also seasoned and ready to go. So we'll be conducting an officer academy and an engineer academy, hopefully within the next 3 months, and accomplish that so we have people ready to fill positions when we lose people with those skill sets. 35 Canadians, 7 Point Roberts, 5 county. We have 4 paramedics, 15 EMTs, 4 advanced EMTs, 3 ambassadors, and 32 firefighters on staff. So volunteer hours were 2270, volunteer payroll 14,940. Combined chief hours, I worked 131, Assistant Chief Shields 148, total hours of 279. We had 11 calls last month, 7 EMS calls, 1 Airlift Northwest, 2 no transports, and 2 transports to Medic 45 out of Ferndale, and 2 transports to North Whatcom. We had 3 fire classifications, 2 smoke, and 1 false alarm, and then we had another wrong address. We were dispatched, again, incorrectly. So that, one thing I would like to say about the Airlift Northwest, we had a cardiac save last month at the border, and it was a great working interagency save. The border customs started CPR because the CPR happened right as this person crossed over the border into the United States. And they were able to start CPR on the individual. Paramedic Ben Boyko was on point that day. I was actually working Medic 45 and got dispatched to the call as well. But since we have a paramedic here on the point, we hold at 276, which is the last exit. If airlift's not available, we'll come on through, but as long as airlift's available, the direction within this organization is to cancel the medic from the county and leave them in service, since we already have a paramedic performing ALS treatment on that patient on the point. So airlift is, when they're dispatched, statistically they don't fail. I'm sure it'll happen maybe someday when they land, they have a mechanical issue and they can't take off. But at that point, we'll just transport by ground with the flight nurses and the paramedic or EMTs that are available at that time. But it's not, I don't want to utilize 2 county resources for 1 patient. I'd rather airlift come in, the medic unit from the county be canceled when we have that availability of air flight. So the patient, we've been following him. He spent a week down at St. Joseph's Hospital, or a little bit more. He did have a heart attack. He got a stent. We ended up defibrillating him at least 4 times on scene, if I remember. And then airlifted him down to St. Joseph's, obviously. Ben and myself were able to go down there and meet his wife and extended family and friends. And he has now made it home to West Vancouver, is where they live. So he's home, he's neurologically intact, and is doing very, very well. August 12th will be it's not necessarily a ceremony, but what do you call that? To recognize? Recognition. And Congresswoman Delbaney is going to be here for that. And it'll be most likely held here at the fire hall. And Congresswoman Delbaney is coming in to recognize the efforts of all the agencies involved, especially Customs and the emergency responders. I will be inviting the patient and his wife and extended family if they would like to come, if he's able. Hopefully it's a great event. And it's just something that I want to really point out, that it always takes a group of people. It's never about one person, one agency, but the multitude of responders that we had that day and the quick actions of the Customs agent helped save this person's life. So we've had 2 cardiac saves with 100% neurological recovery within the last year here. It's been a very positive time. We trained extremely hard for that, and our people put forth all effort when those calls come in. So it turned out really good for this particular patient. And that's it.
Will it be a morning or an afternoon?
I think, I haven't got a time frame from the Congresswoman yet, but I'm looking, hopefully, and I'll publicize it, but 1 p.m. on August 12th is the time frame that I'm hoping for.
When I said email, I said 13.
So, yeah, August 12th.
Yeah, I said 1300.
Yeah, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the people coming over for gas were appreciative of us because we landed the helicopter right in front of their border.
Yeah, the border was blocked because we landed
For 40
right
minutes.
at the border,
45 minutes.
right by the burn ban sign, basically.
Yeah.
That's where the helicopter landed, so.
Amazing.
Just keep us up to date with that particular event, will you, Chief?
Yes.
Thank you. Unfinished business?
Yes. We've had, over about 2 months ago, article appeared in the All Points Bulletin stating that the commissioners, we 3 commissioners, as well as our secretary, had not complied to Open Public Meeting Act requirements. And I think it would be wise in a public meeting to state that we all have.
Yes. So all 3 commissioners have completed that training along with our district secretary, Linda Hughes, have satisfied the requirements of the 2014 Open Public Records training.
And you have certificates of
And I have
that.
certificates for all of the administration staff.
And it's on file here at the fire department.
That is correct. It is on file.
I just wanted to bring that up as continuing business or unfinished.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that, since we're in a public meeting, that we've been, for lack of better words, certified for additional training and received diplomas and other paraphernalia well before this article arrived in the newspaper.
Yeah, so all 3 commissioners had completed the training in 2014 before the end of the year. So
Before
that's
the summer.
Yeah, so it's I have to go back on the dates, but I think Commissioner Wilmot, I think he finished in September, but please don't quote me on that, it's on his certificate, but it was in 2014. Now, our secretary, Linda Hughes, she was coming on as new secretary, therefore she has a time period before she has to have that training accomplished regarding. She's also the secretary for the parks, is that correct? The parks too.
Commissioner.
You're a commissioner, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. but she's a commissioner for the Parks Board, and that was required for the Parks Board too, but specifically stated for District 5, she has a time frame to complete that training once she became our secretary, and she was not outside that time frame.
That's correct. Madam Secretary, would you mind putting that in the minutes, what we just talked about?
Yep.
We completed this requirement well before
But in
the article morphed in the
Mhm.
All Points Bulletin. I think it's important that we know that. New business?
I have no new
No.
business.
Okay, so this, let's have the clear on this, Chief.
Public question, how does new business work? Is it only that you can?
No. We normally have public comments at the very beginning of the meeting, but we'll extend that to when we're done with this last item on the agenda. And now I'll lost my train of thought and get it all. Oh, just so that we're clear, Linda is going to send out, give us a couple of days for the agendas prior to the meeting. The chief is going to make sure, together with Patty Markel, our finance manager, that we will get updated material for our financial book here. And the chief or Patty Markel are going to update it themselves. We will be able to take those files home. We can peruse them in our own time and when we want this. Am I correct, Stan?
That'll work out much
That'll
better.
work fine for you? Okay. Is that okay with you, Linda?
Mhm.
Beautiful. Chief, anything from you? No?
I don't have anything.
Good.
So I'm done.
Go ahead over there. I don't know your name.
My name is Cynthia Fraser and I live around the corner on Greenwood Drive,
Oh, you're opposite Carter.
right next to John Shields.
Oh, no, sure.
We've actually never. So I didn't know if this was appropriate forum, but it's a request. I know that the health center and that you're having an open house in August, right? On August 15th.
August 15th, that's correct.
And I know that the fire station has been a helpful resource from time to time when women experience domestic violence in the community and there's not another place that's open. I know that the fire station has been, like, because you're staffed 24/7, right?
We're not staffed 24/7.
Oh.
We're very, very close to being staffed 24/7, but we are a volunteer organization.
Okay.
And therefore, I have to say we're very close. We have somebody here during the day, Monday through Friday, and then we usually have 2 firefighters on staff at night. And so they're here ready to respond as well. I can't say that as 100%, but I think we're 98, 99.9% with that. We're doing very good with our membership. But I can't say that if someone came here, that
There'd
we
be somebody.
that we would be here because we may be on a call, they may be having lunch, they may be used in another area. So go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So my request was, I know that on the point, we don't actually have any nonprofit organization that focuses on domestic violence and sexual assault services, and that the organization that provides support for people on the point is in Bellingham for Whatcom County. And I met with them yesterday to see if maybe they, and got some brochures that maybe we could have handed out or available during the open house, so that when people come to the health clinic and to the fire station, they could learn a bit more about the services they can access. I also wanted to just ask the fire station, and I'll go and talk to the police as well, to consider having a conversation about the ways there might be more resources available for survivors, given the weird way the point works, that it's hard for survivors to get support when they need it. They can call 911, they can run to the border, but so I guess it was a request to start or to continue a conversation on that about the ways as community agencies we might be able to have a bit more information. And one of the things that I talked to DVSAS about was whether or not one of their staff members would be willing to come in and do a brief training for the health clinic folks, some of the fire folks, volunteer firefighters, if they were interested, and the police. And so I'm having some conversations with them, but I didn't know if anyone here was interested in something like that. So I was thinking that a training could be just about the basics, like if somebody comes, here's what their services are that can link up, so everybody knows, whoever is volunteer on staff can say, you can call this hotline number and they can link you up with an advocate or a place to stay for the night, so that there's not a gap just because the services are over in Bellingham. So I wanted to put that out there as something maybe we can talk about further as a community, and maybe have some information available in the open house, because it seems like a really strong fit with your emergency response and other people who are there.
Yeah, so I also work down in the county, in Ferndale, for Fire District number 7 as a paramedic, and we deal with this on an intermittent basis as well. I think I'm very open to providing more services, more availability of service outreach to the community here. I have no problem with having your flyers, your brochures to pass out, to have here at the station all the time for people to pick up if necessary. I do think training would be a great thing, and if I could partner with you to set up a program of sorts to get that training offered to our organization along with the clinic, and getting Natalie Davidson involved as the nurse practitioner and the local law enforcement too. I think it would be a great start. And like I said, we're not 24/7. If any of these incidents happen, you obviously understand law enforcement will be involved. Natalie Davidson may be able to be contacted if a kit needs to be opened up for evidence purposes and those types of things. But I would love to sit down with you, get your information, have further conversations on this, and we'll definitely help you start getting the word out at our open house.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's great.
Thank you. Come again. Nice to see new faces. Don't let me do my new else. You especially, Virginia, I've been here a long time, and we always like to see you. Okay, folks, this is, we did 2 minutes over.
Yes, we did. We did.
Okay, Dan, would you like to?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.